quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, episode 109 if you're nasty. My name's Lars, Casteen. Welcome. I'm the Golden Tyrant. We're going to play a role-playing game tonight. It's going to be a great time. And let me introduce you to the folks who are going to be playing it alongside myself. First off, Robin Lange is here.
Good this time.
Zoe Chernicoff.
Good that time.
David the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Good that time.
Hello. And also Matt Humphreys is here.
Good that time, everybody.
Good that time to everybody. Whatever time you're listening to this, I hope you're having a good one. We're recording it at one time. You are going to be listening to it at a different time. That should hopefully explain the whole idea behind the good that time bit. If it hasn't made sense for hundreds of episodes now. Yeah, it's like time travel. Speaking of time travel, Robin, we were chatting ahead of our recording, and you were watching a documentary that brought a topic to mind for you that you would like us to discuss, and that we would all like to discuss. We've all signed off on this. This isn't Robin twisting anybody's arm. What is that topic, and let's discuss it.
So, I love a good documentary on just about anything. We actually mentioned multiple documentaries for this, but the one that got me thinking last night was I was watching this documentary called A Trip to Infinity. It's on Netflix, and throughout it, it's interviewing physicists. What's the other? My brain just stopped
chemists.
working.
Oh, no, wait.
Mathematicians?
Jugglers?
No jugglers. There's just a juggler watching it.
Chefs?
The brain.
Brain folks. Philosophers?
Philosophers, yes. Thank you. So philosophers, yes.
So we're talking math, physics, and philosophy.
Yeah, and anything even slightly related. And they are all talking about the nature, like what is infinity, the nature of infinity, the math of infinity. And I think at the back of my brain, this idea of infinity has always kind of given me a lot of agita, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a kid, I remember the first time that I feel like a lot of kids go through this, where I looked at the sky one night and I just started thinking about how massive and infinite the universe is, and how that means we'll never get to see all of it. No one in their lives will ever get to know all of it. It is entirely unknowable in that sense. And we are so tiny and insignificant. I remember I actually started to cry. I was so overwhelmed by this concept that there's no possible way to know all the things and to experience all the things, because there are an infinite number of things going on in this massive universe. And then the documentary also gets into the math of it. Like if you have infinity plus 1 equals infinity, and then you cancel out the infinities, it ends up being 1 equals 0, which in and of itself breaks math.
Right.
Like it breaks my brain. It breaks math. It's this amazing concept that you can't ever see or touch, but is at the same time real?
Yeah.
So like, I guess my question is just, what were your thoughts on that? Because I feel like I have a lot of big feelings around it. And I was like, I bet everyone else has some really interesting ideas about this.
One of the things that always breaks my brain about it is that our universe is infinite, expanding into what?
Wait, what do you mean?
Expanding, and it's even expanding faster recently.
Right.
It's like a pancake, but it's infinitely expanding. Into what is the pancake expanding?
Right.
Because
Exactly.
the pancake is everything.
If the
Where-
pancake contains
what are at the
all of
boundaries?
reality. Yeah.
Where does the what's after the end of the universe?
Totally. I love that. It breaks my brain, and I think I'm probably going to watch this documentary now.
And that's like, but Armat, you're saying that's a feeling that you like. Like you like that feeling of having something kind of jostled that you can't totally resolve.
Totally. Yeah. I honestly, yeah, I get a kick out of that stuff. Like the extreme hypothetical, like edge cases of reality, I think are super fun. So
Well, and I think Lars is also getting at something which is like a half step farther, which is like edge cases at the extent of reality, like the sort of what that is intellectually is one thing, but it's also what it is emotionally. And it's like the thing that can do to you emotionally is something that Robin is saying makes her feel really on edge. And Matt, it sounds like it makes you feel like engaged and fascinated and like you're sort of like into it more than out on it.
I think I'm less
Totally,
on edge
yeah.
these days. I see the beauty in it more as I've gotten older. When I was little, I was just very overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
Sort
To
of
me-
the definition of overwhelming, right? It's everything.
yeah.
Yeah, if it's not overwhelming you, you're not doing it right, right? Like
Yeah.
you're failing at thinking about it in the infinite.
Yeah,
if
you're
you're
just
like, yeah, I
not
got
really
this.
actually, yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to take us backwards.
Okay,
But
And I promise I'm not. It's going to seem like I am, but
Okay.
I promise I'm not.
that's the feeling of the universe expanding infinitely.
Right.
Actually, it feels like you're shrinking, but you're not. Yeah.
What I'm gonna do right now, it's gonna feel like a blue shift, but I promise it's a red shift, or
Okay.
maybe vice versa. I don't
We'll see.
remember intro astronomy well enough. This is related to how I feel about aliens.
okay, good.
Oh no!
Yes. I'm so ready for this.
Okay, and I'm gonna take us off in like a third direction, but I promise this will come together.
Oh my God.
I am reading a book about. I'm reading a book about the sensory experiences of animals.
Well, it's a great book.
And how like any animal, including a human's like inner life and consciousness is like perforce. It is defined by the things it is able and also unable to perceive. So like whatever, a dog's eyes can only see two colors. And so the way that a dog has vision, but the vision that dog has is totally different from human vision because the rods and cones in their eyes are different. They can resolve different numbers of colors.
Right.
You know, like there's a reason that cows always appear to be staring off into the middle distance. Well, it's because their eyes are designed to see the entire horizon at once, and they have eyes on either side of their head in all directions, so they don't need to turn their head to look at something when they notice it. They just notice it, and they don't need to move their heads. So that registers to humans who are visually dominant. As
Yeah,
than
so let
being
cows
stupid
off
or
the
whatever.
hook, everybody. Like they're
Exactly.
they're doing
Yeah,
everything
don't
they
be a
need to
jerk
do.
cows.
They're checking you out as much as you're checking them out. They just don't need to turn their head to do it. Okay. The part of the way I feel about the whole alien thing
Okay.
is that we as individuals and also as a species are limited in what we can perceive by not only our technological apparatus, but also our biological apparatus. So there is all kinds of stuff going on around us that we know we can't actually perceive. Physics is full of it. Physics is all about like the reality existing in like in infinity dimensions, and we can only
Yeah.
perceive 4 of them. And the fourth one we can only perceive unidirectionally.
Yeah, we
'cause
don't do a
it's
great
time.
job with that one.
Right.
So it sounds like you believe in ghosts.
Ooh. Let's save
it
that for
depends
another day.
on-
That's another topic. That's another topic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
we got to move on in 3
That was-
minutes. Let's go.
That was Lars the producer jumping in over the top of Lars the conversationalist, which I appreciate. No, but so anyway, the point being like that feeling of there being an infinity that you know is there, but you also know you can't access, and this sort of feeling of knowing that the stuff you can be a part of and interact with is only a sliver of what's like that infinity feeling is also how I feel about the idea of alien. And it's just because like you're suddenly aware of your own boundaries and like your own limitations in like a very deep human way. Like what a human is what it can perceive and what it can't, you know? So anyway, we don't have to go back to the aliens thing. We should probably do the ghost thing anyway, but it's almost, this is like much more what I wish I had been getting at last week when we were talking about this.
I think that's beautifully said, David. I agree with you. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
And like the concept of what we can and can't see as well is another thing that always like made me feel a little sad as a kid. Like our version of ultraviolet is how we're trying to perceive it with our own eyes. We actually can't see ultraviolet in the way that insects can.
It sounds like you're saying
Yep.
that
And we never
infinity
will.
isn't just out there. It's also all around us, is
It's
what it
in
is. that
us,
we're- It's
man.
in
Kind
us.
of.
Yeah.
We are star stuff.
Oh, okay.
We are. Isn't that beautiful? I love that.
No, well, so to take us to a lighthearted note, I mean, I think infinity is cool. I think it's so large it doesn't wig me out, or like it just starts to feel so improbable that we're all here, right? Like, what
Right.
in the earthly fuck, and I mean that literally, is this tiny blue planet doing? All of us are like running around and we're like, Twitter likes or what? Like, it's such nonsense.
That's a really good
That it's
Kathy
pretty
impersonation.
cool, you know. It's now we're at the unbearable lightness of being, right? But the thing that infinity always makes me think of is my favorite children's book, which is The Phantom Tollbooth, that has a whole thing on infinity, which is like such a delightful way of teaching children about infinity, where Milo has to walk up the infinity staircase to try and escape the math magician's kingdom, and he just keeps being told to add one and add one and add one. And anyways, it's a good book. It's my point. If you haven't read it,
I haven't read it. I've only seen the animated
It's so
film,
long.
which maybe
wait, there's
I
a
forgot.
film?
Yeah, there's like
Oh,
it's like a
the film
Chuck
is a
Jones-ish thing. Maybe it's like
Oh.
it's got a kind of like ramshackle '70s kind of vibe to it.
It's really good.
That's
kinda
it should.
cool.
I've always wondered why I mean, obviously you could still get the film rights now. I've always wondered why no one has botched that with some sort of horrible theatrical release that like adds a dragon and an action plot it doesn't
Oh,
need
yeah,
or whatever.
Give it time.
The movie that I'm thinking of does not do that, but you might still. I can't promise that you.
No,
like
it sounds like it was made in an era when it would have been genuine and heartfelt, not
It was-
like
Yeah.
like the
bastardized.
Watership Down era.
And I
Okay.
think that they added some songs and stuff to it. It's a Chuck Jones deal from
That's fine.
1970.
It was the 70s. Everyone was
Yeah.
high.
Yep,
You
they
can't
sure
be-
were.
It's
Um,
music.
Their depiction of the doldrums still
Oh,
sticks
agreed.
in my mind.
Agreed. Here's my
All right.
take on Infinity. I don't like it. Makes me feel bad. I don't like thinking about it.
But you know what you do like thinking about?
I do. I like thinking about these reviews that we're getting on iTunes.
Love these segues.
This review came in from our friend Tom is okay, and this is one of my favorite reviews. Love the cast is the subject line, and then here's the text: Are Matt Humphreys? No. Is Matt Humphreys?
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Finally,
Yes.
someone called me out on my typo in my name. Thank you.
No question mark, all exclamation marks.
Conjugation incorrect.
Incorrect. Yeah. Somebody should have proofread that at some point. But thank you, Tom, for leaving that review. It's incredibly helpful for us. It puts our show in front of more people and helps us find people who are going to enjoy our show. And that's ultimately why we're doing this. So thank you. And now, what do you say we descend into the infinity of the Abomination vaults, shall we?
Ooh. Just keep adding one more level to the dungeon.
Add one more Sugathi leg to the beast.
Oh.
Your exploration of the dungeons below Gauntlet hit a snag early in the day yesterday when you realized that this, the 6th level of the so-called Abomination vaults, holds laboratories maintained by obsessive subterranean worms known as Sugathi, and that the bizarre experiments they're carrying out here are of personal significance to AO. Your raid on the Sugathi laboratories has just begun in earnest, and you are presently locked in combat in a cramped viewing area from which one of these aberrant researchers was closely observing and documenting the fighting prowess of an 8-foot-tall lizard creature known as a Destrachon on the other side of a wall of transparent stone. So now it's a race. Will you be able to cut this Sugathi down before they can use their levitation magic to maneuver towards the glowing glyph that will release the transparent barrier between you and the Destrachon? Or will you be forced to contend with both of these foes at once? That question may already be answered, as Mag has just felt her mind jostled into abject incoherence by the Sugathi's confusion-inducing aura. And she's now unsure which of the creatures around her should face the sharp end of her newly equipped glaive. Try to put a little sauce on that one. Try to put a little
I thought
spice.
it was saucy. Yeah.
You liked it?
I
You
liked
thought
it.
it got some sauce?
It had a
more
kick to
like
it.
glavy. I got our Matt.
Bravo.
Okay.
I am here for it.
Oh.
So, this is episode
Those are so
109. We're in use it or lose it territory with hero points.
Ooh.
When last we left off, the four of you were shoved into this tight observation chamber with this Sugathi, and Mag just failed a will save against the Sugathi's mind fog aura. So she's confused. So David, I'm going to roll a d3. If I roll a 1, you're attacking Trill. If I roll a 2, you're attacking Isthin. And if I roll a 3, you are attacking the Sugathi. This glaive that you're wielding now has reach on it, so you're able to swing it around and hit people at some distance to you. Let's see what happens. I just rolled a 1 on the die, so you are going to be attacking Trill.
Or Trill.
As your confusion overtakes you and you are unsure if Trill is friend or foe.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I wanted to wail on Isthin some more. So Lars, the way this works that like you control the actions that Mag takes, or that Mag starts attacking stuff, like every one of Mag's actions is going to be attacking, and it's just a matter of whom.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. I'll drop the
Okay.
rules for confusion in the chat so you can
Yeah,
or
I am
the
curious.
confused condition.
I'll go ahead and give you the strike against Trill.
Sure.
Oh, come on. The 32.
Oof.
Oof.
Well, that's a hit.
Oh my god.
Almost a crit. Mag manages to not critically hit
Did
Trill, though.
Trill's own Inspire Courage keep her from being critted by Mag?
Well, I guess I was benefiting from it
No,
also.
he was benefiting from Inspire Courage, actually.
Oh, that's true, right? A rising tide lifts all
That's right.
inter-party conflict.
It's the perfect metaphor.
Yeah.
That is 14 damage, which is quite a damage roll for the glaive.
Gross.
Yeah.
A gross attack from Mag as the confusion continues to roll through her mind, hearing the Sugathi whisper to her faintly, and Mag is going to be targeting the Sugathi next.
All right, that's more like it.
Yep.
I'm into that. That's a really crummy roll. That's the 4 on the die for a 15.
Okay, that's going to miss. And Mag's got one more strike as she just starts flailing wildly, attacking everything around her. That's going to be the Sugathi again.
All right. Let's just finish it off. Come on, Magdaruna. 18 to hit?
It's not going to do it. So Mag attacks Trill, flails wildly twice at the Sugathi, and then it is Isthin's turn. At the beginning of Isthin's turn, as Isthin sees what's happening to Mag, he feels the whispers of this Sugathi invading his mind as well, and I need this will save.
All right.
And this is big, because if Isthin is able to get to the Sugathi and attack this turn, it's possible he might be able to stop the Sugathi from getting to the glyph and deactivating the wall. So this is extremely important. Armat, how did you...
23.
23 is a success.
Yes!
You feel these whispers in your mind and you brush them aside.
Love
and you've retained full control of your body.
Glad that Bravo's brew worked for somebody. Jeez.
Yeah. I am going to have Isthin make a spell strike against the Sugathi.
Spell strike with what? What kind of spell are you going to be doing?
You know, I think I'm just going to go classic produce flame, you know? Who doesn't love a little bit of a produce flame?
Why mess with what works or has worked once? Twice? Twice.
I think once. Oh, no. That's a 3 on the die. I'm going to use my hero point here to reroll that.
Okay. As Isthin digs deep to try to channel this flame magic through his staff.
Oh, It was another 3 on the die.
Oh, man.
18 to hit.
You tried, though, man.
Not gonna do it. I believe Iston has one more action.
Boy, he sure does. I will enter Arcane Cascade stance. So Iston, for the strike, he's spinning the staff so that it flows from a figure 8 into an overhead downward smash onto it. When it misses, though, he's able to take that momentum and keep spinning it up and recycle it through his body so that a line of thin, almost ethereal fire is coating his forearms, and he carries it back into a ready stance.
And as that fire starts orbiting around Iston, you see the Distrachon in the next room continuing to use its large circular mouth to blast these crystals that are all around it. And the Sugathi researcher starts, having levitated up towards the ceiling, crawling along the ceiling. So Ao, if she looks up, sees this creature skittering along, pulling itself forward as it's levitating with its myriad legs. And it's essentially hanging right over top of her. And it starts reaching for this glyph, extending its long reach towards the wall.
That's an AOO for Mag.
Oh, okay. Attack of opportunity for Mag.
Is Mag not confused anymore?
Well, but that's
Mag's
what I
confused.
wanted.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on.
Well, but it might anyway, right?
No, you lose reactions when you're confused.
Okay, so she doesn't
Sorry.
just start swiping at whatever the first thing is that moves around her?
That's right. So that means that nobody is there to stop the Sugathi from extending its long beak and tapping frantically at the glyph. And it brings the wall all the way
Bummer, guys.
down.
We don't want that.
But engaging with that glyph takes 2 actions, so its turn is done. As you hear the sound of this wall come down, and you, the sonic experience of being in this room is now completely different. Instead of this tightly cramped stone wall, it's this wide open, almost warehouse space. As you look down this room, it just recedes into the darkness. It's maybe 60, 70, 80 feet long. And about 30 feet away from you is this bipedal, 8-foot tall, eyeless. It's like an enormous lizard with a speaker attached to its face that it is just blasting sound out of over and over and over again.
Okay, guys, I have a plan.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good, because I'm confused.
Yeah, so Mag and I both. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Sugathi whispers a little bit of a sign of relief, ah. And then you hear in your minds, you hear its voice sort of reverberating. Good, fight each other. Let the strongest one win. At the top of round 3, it's Ao's turn. Zoe, I said that your confusion would last through your turn because I screwed up your confusion roll last turn. I think that's not fair. The thing I said last week I think is messed up. So I'm going to let you...
I don't know. I didn't think it was messed up.
I don't think it's fair for you to miss 2... I just don't think it's right.
Okay.
Because...
I won't fight you.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to make another will save as its mind fog aura permeates you one more time.
All right.
You hear the Sugathi whispering to you seductively.
Good news. That's a 4 on the die for a 15, so I'm confused.
Okay, you're confused.
Here we go.
So that means that you can attack anybody, I'll say, within Chompers' first range, which is 30 feet, which I believe means that you are open for business to attack literally anybody in the room. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to roll a d5, and the numbers range from 1 for Trill to 5 to the Distrachon. Okay? So let's see who Ao is shooting with Chompers. 2, that's Mag. Ao's going to shoot at Mag.
I'll take it.
That's an 11 to hit.
11.
Oh, I'm sorry. 11 was 27 total. I'm just reading the dice, not the...
Well, Well, that's
a different result. Yeah.
Yes, it sure is. Well, that's a horse of a different number. 27 will hit.
5 damage.
'Tis but a flesh wound.
As Mag takes those 5 points of damage, she is allowed to take a DC 11 flat check to recover from confusion.
Oh, delightful. Right. Each time you get hit, you get another one of those.
We all remember that.
Istin certainly
Sorry, Istin.
is still feeling that, I suspect.
All right, that's an 8 for Mag.
Okay, so
no
Mag
recovery.
is still confused as Ao now targets 1, 2, 3, 4, the Sugathi right above her.
Cannot hit that Sugathi while confused. That's a 14.
And as that arrow flies wide, she turns and sees the Distrachon a few feet away from her and is now able to target that.
The 19.
Okay, arrows flying all over the room as Ao attacks wildly, the mind fog of the Sugathi still afflicting her. And as her turn ends, it is now Trill's turn.
So Trill's going to, this may seem counterintuitive, move closer to the Distrachon.
Yes.
I need to do a little bit of measuring, Lars.
Sure, measure away.
How much is Trill's movement again?
25.
25? Okay.
Like
so that brings me
90.
to here. So she's moving through the room and then back kind of to the outside area, but not that that really matters.
Advancing straight towards this large reptilian fiend.
And then her 15-foot cone just gets her there, I believe. Yes?
Yes.
If I do a 15-foot cone,
You've just drawn a cone and it hits the Distrachon.
Boom.
Trill is going, because we remember that Distrachon are all about sound,
Mm-hmm.
and Trill's going to finally cast Haunting Him
Ooh.
in the hopes that she can deafen this sucker.
All right.
So it needs to do a fortitude save.
Okay, let's do a fortitude save. How much damage am I looking at, though? Would you mind letting me know?
Yeah, so that's going to be 7 damage.
Okay.
That's not what I'm looking for.
7 points of sonic damage. If I critically fail this, I'll be deafened.
Yes.
So here we go. Fortitude saving throw. Critical success. I rolled a 33 because you see this sound pelt its skin, and it's like the sound is like reverberating off of it. It has plating all over its body that specifically protects it from sonic damage.
Damn. Well, I tried to deafen it, guys.
Well, it was a very clever idea.
You got some more information out of it, so at the very least, that's something.
It was like a very elaborate recall knowledge.
Well, because I had some knowledge already, so I knew that. So from what Lars had said last time, I felt like deafening was the best option.
Dude, it makes total sense.
makes total sense.
Apparently, it's soundproofed.
Because it's all sound. This thing is blasting so much sound. It's developed a chitinous, sound-resistant hide.
So now I'm much closer to it.
Robin,
Great.
if it is any consolation to you, I don't think that's going to matter at all. We'll see what this thing does on its turn, but I don't think that's going to be materially important.
We're all close to it.
Anything
in
it
this
can,
world.
its sound can travel presumably at an insane range.
Well, I don't want to spoil what's going to happen, but we'll find out.
Anything that it has line of sight or I guess line of sound to,
Yeah.
it can
Well, we'll see.
light
We'll
up.
see. Speaking of seeing, it is Mag's turn. At the beginning of Mag's turn, she again is going to be subjected to that mind fog aura.
And this time it's a 27?
Mag comes to her senses. The situation has changed radically since she went under. This wall that was protecting her from this beast is no longer there. She sees the Sugathi elevated just inches above Ao's head. It's a bad situation, but she is now no longer confused and is free to take her turn in whatever way she would like to.
Yeah. Well, everything's moved around. She notices the wall come down, and then she sees Trill is the closest to this sonic death lizard. And at the risk of leaving 2 monsters on the battlefield, her first instinct would be to rush into the new line of fire and move herself between Trill and this newly uncovered monster.
Oh, Mag.
But actually, I want to switch weapons first.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a free action, drop the glaive.
Yep.
And then first action, draw the maul.
Okay.
And then sudden charge down to the southern part of this room between Trill and the monster.
Okay.
And then at the end of that, make the melee strike against the Decepticon.
Okay.
And after all that, it is a 4 on the die for a 20 to hit.
Our dice have really turned us down.
Mag rushes forward, maul in the air, slams it, and this Distrachon manages to dodge out of the way behind one of these pillars of crystal that the Sugathi had set up for it to destroy.
Little target practice.
And it manages to avoid taking any damage.
All right. Well, at least it can't see Trill anymore. Trill is now behind me.
So sweet.
And as Mag sets up a protective stance in front of Trill, it is now Isthin's turn. Isthin, in the northern part of the room, the Sugathi levitating above Ao's head, the Distrachon, Mag, and Trill a short distance away to the south. What is Isthin going to do?
Well, to start, I think he's going to stride to get closer to the Sugathi. So he's going to just try a strike against it. See how he does. 30 to hit.
30 to hit hits as you reach up and bat at this thing up in the air, and you manage to connect with a few of the feet dangling from the Sugathi.
Awesome. Let's see what
That's a very goofy image.
That is 15 points of damage, 14 bludgeoning, and 1 fire.
It doesn't seem as though all of that is going through as you bonk against its hard plating on its underbelly, but you do manage to do a good chunk of damage to it. And you got one more action.
With my last action, I guess, Isthin will drop into use his staff's parry trait to buff his armor class.
Okay. Isthin sets up a defensive stance against the Sugathi as the Distrachon's turn begins. Its arms reach forward as it sweeps its sound-detecting gills around the room, just going as it's trying to read what it is that's in front of it. And it turns its head sideways for a moment and then takes a step back and lets forth a sonic cry. It opens its mouth and you just hear "Ah!" as this insane sound starts permeating the room.
Question.
Yes.
Is that a flavor sonic cry?
It was a real mechanical sonic cry.
That's a bummer. I was hoping maybe this was just a bit.
It's a bit. It's a great bit that this Distrachon does as then it blows you apart. But that's going to be a
Spoiler.
60-foot cone as everybody in the northern half of the room, every single creature in this room gets targeted with these painful harmonics.
Even the ones behind Mag? Like, right hidden behind her? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's time to get fortitudinous, everybody.
Ooh. That can't be good.
Ooh, ouch.
Okay, I'm going to let you know that the DC for that fortitude save was 26. Let's see. Mag, how did you do?
It's just a 20 for Mag. That's her best save,
Okay.
but another bad die roll.
So that's a failure. That means that Mag is going to be deafened for 3 rounds and is stunned 2, meaning that Mag loses 2 actions at the beginning of her next turn.
Oh, no.
Isthin, how did you do?
Oh, mama.
I got a 1 on the die for a 13.
So this
that's a-
blast hits you right in the face. You're deafened for a minute, and you're stunned 3, meaning you're down for essentially 3 actions. A full turn of actions is going to be lost.
Woof.
Trill, how did you do?
Trill, thanks to Mag, I assume,
Let's
was actually quite prepared for this and managed to succeed with a 20 on the die for a 29.
So
For
Trill
the critical success.
completely unaffected, withstands it. Zoe, how did Ao do?
So I think Ao is going to hero point this. She had a 6 for a 16, which is not great. I believe a critical failure because 26.
Yes.
So
that's correct.
I'm a hepo this.
Okay.
as the
Throw a
kids say.
hepo out there.
Yeah. Good news, guys. That is slightly better, which takes us from a critical failure, 7 on the die, so we're up to 17. So it's a failure, not
Okay.
a critical failure.
Okay, good. That means that Ao is going to be deafened for 3 rounds and is stunned 2, meaning she's going to lose
Wow.
2 actions on her next turn. The Sugathi just barely saved, which means that it is going to be sickened 1 for a round.
Well, this just got bad.
Yes, it sure did. It's now the Sugathi researcher's turn. The Sugathi sees Ao standing underneath it, confused, doesn't want to risk unconfusing Ao. So what that means is that the Sugathi takes aim at Isthan, opens its mouth, and attempts to bite him. That's
Figurative or literal bite attack here?
This is a literal bite attack.
Okay.
That is a 22 to hit.
Well, that will not connect. Iston has 26 AC.
Okay. So the reason why that didn't connect is a combination of a few things. 1, you've got your stick out in front of you. 2, it's levitating, so its attacks are shaky. 3, it's sickened, so its attacks are shakier still. It's only because of that combination of things, this woozy, hungry, like now this situation's getting out of control, Sugathi missed because of that. The Sugathi is then going to float to the corner of the room, and it starts fiddling with the outline of a secret door trying to escape. It is now
Oh boy.
Ao's turn. At the beginning of Ao's turn, again, a will save as the Sugathi mind fog once more afflicts you.
Are you throwing it in chat or should I just do
Oh,
it?
I'm sorry. I'm just being an idiot. This is very this is intense. This is an intense combat all of a sudden.
This has gotten very intense.
That's a 22. So she can...
22 is a success. Ao gets her wits back about her. She's still deafened. You hear ringing in your ears exclusively, and you're stunned. You're unable to move your body. You're stunned 2, meaning that you're going to lose 2 actions this turn, meaning that you have 1 action right now as you see this Sugathi, a perpetrator of the process, fumbling with a secret door to escape. What will you do?
I think Ao's just going to try and fire an arrow at the Sugathi, see if she can stop it. It ain't sexy, but I think it's what she'd do.
That's just the way it goes sometimes.
Doesn't have that kukri out, huh?
It's a 27.
That 27 hits.
Okay, all right. Maybe we finish it off.
Be great.
That is 8 points of damage.
And it's still up.
Oh. Oh, man. I wanted that for Ao so bad.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
did. Not Lars. Lars didn't, but
Ao gets her wits about her, shoots a quick arrow into the underbelly of this levitating mind control worm. It's now Trill's turn.
Trill sees the Sugathi near death and is annoyed that this is annoyed at this distraction.
It's distraction. It's definitely distraction.
Tried to out Sonic her. Trill's gonna look and say, "Oh, you want some loud music? I'll give you some loud music." And Trill's gonna electric arc both these fuckers.
yeah.
Hell
Both
yeah.
are in range.
Dig it.
Bow, bow, bow,
Zap,
bow,
baby,
bow,
zap.
bow.
Same. They've got a basic reflex save.
Okay. The Sugathi rolled a 32.
Oh, that's obnoxious. That
Which I
doesn't
believe-
get any damage, right?
That means that's a critical success, and that means it takes no damage. The Distrachon just barely saved, rolled a 22.
So that's 11 points of damage, so it'll take 5 damage, I believe.
All right, 5 points of damage as electricity wriggles and curdles around the Distrachon. Trill's got one more action.
For Trill's next action, Trill's going to prepare to... I think she's going to actually boost Istin, so we can get rid of that. Sugathi. So Trill's looks to Istin and says, "I got you," and starts playing some. I don't know what. I feel like Istin's into yacht rock.
I can
Nice.
totally see that. Yeah. Like, oh God, what's the guy's name? Michael
McDonald.
McDonald. Yes. Thank you.
So she'll try playing some yacht rock to
Robin.
boost Istin.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you want me to save you from a mistake, or do you want to learn from making mistakes?
Yeah. I think I know what Lars is going to say. Istin is deafened. And so performing
Oh.
music for him is not going to be able to connect.
Right. That's a very good point. So it won't help either of them, actually, because I believe Mag is also deafened.
Yes, she's
This is
quite
a
deaf
weird
at the moment.
situation
Yeah.
for Trill. Trill suddenly, her friends rely on her music. Many of them cannot hear her right now.
Oof.
Like all of us?
I think all of you, at least for the short term, yes.
Do we lose the Inspire Courage that we had, or does that stay with us because it's based on an auditory experience we had before being deafened?
I think that the fact that the thing is, and this is all flavor talk, I think the fact that the
Yeah.
thing is called lingering composition means that it's something that sticks with you emotionally, not that you continue to hear. If it
Yeah.
were called reverberating composition, I'd say maybe, but
Okay,
That's my
rolling
take
it
on
back,
Yeah.
Trill thinks about that and then realizes, no one can hear me. What a nightmare! And Trill instead is going to spend a spell slot for the most inefficient magic missile. She's going to target Sugathi to send off a single magic missile, hoping that that will do it.
okay.
Fingers crossed.
I'll do that 3rd level spell slot.
Okay.
And that is 8 points of damage.
I mean, that's got to do it. Come on.
The Sugathi had 8 points of hit points left.
Blessed relief.
Good job,
Not getting out of the
Trill.
room.
So Trill shoots off two magic missiles through it in the back of the Sugathi as it's fumbling to get this door open, and it collapses. Thunk falls down on the floor in front of Ao. And it is down.
Trill shouts, "Sorry, I couldn't let you do it, Ao. I didn't want it to get out of the room."
She can't
Ao
hear.
doesn't hear her.
Oh, Ao's deafened too?
Yeah.
God.
deafened.
And Trill just goes, "Fuck!"
Yeah. So Ao looking across the room sees Trill
Right.
go.
Trill sounds like she's issuing biting words right now.
Yeah.
Yang, yang!
It's now Mag's turn. Mag is deafened and stunned too. So Mag's got one action in this round.
Well, when Mag has one action, what Mag likes to do is hit things as hard as she can with hammers. So I'm going to recall knowledge about the secret door.
Good.
All right, here we go.
Which weapon are you attacking with, David?
I have the maul out.
And the maul does not have reach, so I don't think you can reach the distraction.
Oh, it moved away from me.
Fucker.
Yeah, it was setting up its cone to blast you.
Well, what can I do with one action?
Can Mag throw them all at it?
Well, then she won't ever maul. That seems like a bad idea.
That's a bad trade.
Yeah.
You're trading one action now for an action later. It's dicey.
The rising tides that equal all the.
I don't think it has the necessary trait. All right. Well, what Mag is going to do then, she turns back to Istin and pantomimes some speech at him.
Uh-huh.
And then
I love
Mag
this.
is going to use her action to run around to the far side of the Distrachon which leaves Trill exposed, but would enable Istin to interpose and would set up a flank. And that's, I think, as useful as Mag's kind of turn here is going to get. So that's it. She runs around to the other side.
So Mag shakes the cobwebs loose and repositions, and it is now Isthin's turn. Isthin, I got bad news here for you. You are stunned 3. You're losing this whole turn.
Yep.
So Isthin spends a few moments just standing there looking groggy, and as soon as he gets his wits back about him, the Distrachon is going to go. And here's what's going to happen.
All right, Istin didn't have a turn.
Right. Yeah.
Whoops.
But you wouldn't have known that, right?
Right, exactly.
Like, she wouldn't have, yeah.
And I guess at least it can't hit us all now.
Yeah, I was just imagining Istin staring blankly at Mag as she tries to pantomime like I'm moving to flank and just being like,
I even imagine him smiling and waving.
yeah, totally.
The Distrachon's ear gills bristle for a second, and it turns around and looks at Mag, and Mag sees it eyelessly sizing her up as she feels its breath breathing down on top of her. It tries to bite her with its jaws. That's a 29 to hit.
Yeah, a 29 will certainly hit.
And there's this booming sound reverberating through Mag's body as these teeth sink into her, and she feels like a blast of sound escape the teeth and echo through her body. That is 26 points of damage, a combination of piercing and sonic damage.
This is, I mean, no fun for Mag. I have to say, this monster is awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really good. And the next thing that happens is that the Distrachon whips its head around now that it's bit Mag and just goes, "Bah!" And a low frequency blast escapes in a 60-foot cone out from the Distrachon's mouth, targeting our 3 heroes on the northern side of the room, Trill, Isthin, and Ao. And I need all of you to please make a reflex save as you attempt to hit the deck to avoid taking damage from this. First off, I'm going to tell you how much damage you have coming your way.
Oh my God. The number of dice that just got rolled was like 1,000,000.
9d6 damage, resulting in 32 points of sonic damage.
Oh my God.
How did Ao do?
Not Ao's Knight. That's a 17.
Okay. That's a failure. One point away from being a critical failure, which could have been
Worse.
quite bad. So that's Ao takes the full 32 points. Okay, how did Trill do on that save?
I was pleased with my 25, but that was not enough.
It's not enough. Trill takes the full 32 points as well. How did Isthin do?
Youch.
Istin got an 18 on the die for a 31.
That succeeds. Isthin takes half damage, 16 points of damage, as you're just buffeted by just this blast of sound. Like it's hitting you so hard that it's causing your muscles to crunch into your bones. It's like your ligaments are sort of getting bruised as your body just tries to withstand this sonic onslaught. And with that, it is the top of round 5. Ao, clear-headed, deafened, but not confused anymore, sees this Distrachon poised in the southern part of the room, Mag behind her, Trill and Isthin trailing away. Trill is looking pretty badly beat up at this point, but Ao is not feeling great either. What is Ao going to do?
Well, it seems like we gotta try and stop this thing. I think Ao's in arrow mode. She's deafened. I don't even know that she has her wits about her to cast a spell. So she's just gonna fire, turn on her heels and fire 3 bows from chompers at the Distrachon.
Nice.
So Ao grits her teeth and lets arrows fly across the room.
First one is a 30.
That hits.
Does 6 points of damage. Gosh, it's boring not being flat-footed. Just so little damage. Just little chippies. Next one is a 23 to hit.
That's going to miss.
And you know what? Last move, since it's going to be so unlikely, she's going to recall knowledge on this thing. See if they can learn anything about it.
Sure. Give me
Nice.
a what do we want here? Give me an occultism check, please.
Secret?
Sure.
Although it's going to be hard to share that since nobody could hear her.
That's true.
Ao feels confident about two things that she knows about
Uh-oh.
this creature.
Mm-hmm. It's a mitflit.
Yeah, one is that it's able to she's seen this creature do these wide blasts of sound across the room. She senses that it's able to essentially laser focus its damage when it really wants to hurt one target in particular. And she also gets the sense that it is immune to slashing damage. Its chitinous exoskeleton is too strong.
Okay, so one of these things is wrong. And as Ao's turn ends, she's sort of, I guess, Trill will be able to hear her, but she won't know Mag can't hear her, though, huh?
You can play it whichever way you want to play it. It's all good with me.
Anyway, she shouts out to whomever can hear, "Get back on the other side of the wall! I'll try to close it! We'll close it in!"
Okay. Interesting. Well, one person who's definitely able to hear you is Trill. As Trill feels her inspire courage fade from her, what is she going to do?
Trill's mad at herself right now. Because I just realized I actually have deafness on my Staff of Necromancy.
Okay.
And it doesn't have a sonic trait.
Oh, yeah. These things are definitely auditory traits. You get the impression that if it were to be deafened, it would have to make that flat check. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess Trill has to draw the Staff of Necromancy.
Yep.
Yeah, so Trill's going to draw her staff. She's got her lute in one hand, staff in the other.
Okay.
She's trying to pull an instant here. And Trill, rather than using her song, channels the staff to try and cast deafness.
Is this like a light switch where if she casts it on all of us, those who are deaf will become undeaf, but the monster will become
it's
deaf?
only
Yeah,
one
the full name of the
target.
spell is Deafness Toggle.
It's a flippy spell.
It's commonly shortened. I don't
And
know
so,
why.
so she's going to try deafness on this fellow.
Okay.
We'll see. Their fortitude save's too good. It's probably a bad idea that I just did this.
So you're channeling this out of the Staff of Necromancy, the one that you
Yeah.
recovered off of the ghoul, the head ghoul on the third floor.
Yeah, way back when.
Way back when. Here comes a fortitude save. 2 on the die for an
Nice.
18.
Oh my gosh!
That's
So it's now deafened
news.
for 10 minutes.
It's
That's a
deafened
long time.
for 10 minutes.
This is what I
Correction.
should have done from the beginning.
It's deafened
It's
till
elegant.
the end
It's
of its
beautiful.
life.
That's not what it says, but okay. Yeah, so Trill deafens this thing, and you see it. Oh gosh, if it's deafened, and it uses,
it even use the
it
sonic
doesn't
trait?
it doesn't have vision. It uses echolocation.
Hell
So
yeah.
it's blinded. Blind toggle.
Well, that's the thing that toggles with the deafness is from deaf to blind.
You know, we were talking
Yeah.
at the beginning of the show
Yeah.
about how each creature's reality is defined by what it can.
It's truly an immense world.
Love it.
Yeah, I think that means that it doesn't know where it is.
Feels right to me. Like it would have.
That feels so
you know.
good.
You take a -2 penalty to perception checks for initiative and checks that involve sound, but also rely on other senses. No. You automatically critically fail perception checks that require you to be able to hear. So I think if it uses echolocation and it's deafened, it can't sense where you are. And if it tries to seek you, it's not going to be able to do that because that's a perception check that would only use hearing. I think that the only reason you would disagree with me about this is if you think echolocation and hearing are two different things. But I think if you think that, then it's like, why is there even magic in this game, right? Right? Are we all in agreement? Is this the right move, that this thing is, as I described, it can't tell where you are anymore?
I mean, I don't know why we would disagree with something that benefits us.
Because you're decent, honest people. That's why.
Yeah, I'm trying to play it straight. And Lars, I do end up, I think,
In the
where
same
you are.
place,
That
right?
Being unable to hear would be like more debilitating for this thing than it is for a visually dominant creature.
Its
Yeah.
senses are
Right.
literally echolocation, 120 feet, no vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I've been thinking about it all week, like coming up to this game, how I was like, Trill is going, like, if we have to fight this thing, Trill has to deafen it.
Okay. Well, that's too amazing.
True.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
And what
So we're about
the
to lose
upshot of
anyway?
this is that the only person in this room who can hear anything is Trill.
Yeah. That's the deafness toggle for you.
That's the deafness toggle.
Well, I think we
This
just
is
got
Trill-
the episode
and this
title.
is Trill's personal hell. No one can hear
Yeah.
her.
It's in one way you're riding high, and in another way you've never been so low.
Well, she's actually generally been that low.
True. Fair enough.
But it was a height joke, guys. I made a height joke.
I like
No,
it.
yeah, I'm with you.
And you know what else I like is to see what Mag will do on her turn as this creature, which is now deafened, cannot see her. I'm going to, just for Foundry's sake, I'm going to give it the blinded tag too, because you are all hidden from it. So there we go.
Well,
Wild stuff.
wild swings in this combat. My gracious. Well, Mag was not able to hear Ao's shouted suggestion.
Right.
So was there any kind of a gesture? Was there any pointing? Or was it just like calling out?
Well, I think because Ao's hearing is also not good, right? Like, she understands this thing has had an impact. I think there's maybe some sort of sloppy hearing. And I honestly think gesturing, right? Where she's like, to the side. But like, she's not been behaving particularly well, right? Like,
Right.
I
So
believe
Mag
she
just-
shot you with an arrow earlier. Like, I'm not sure how coherent it would be. And I think you can play it either way.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
I don't
Mag
know
just,
that she'd know what was up.
Mag just sees a grothlet flailing around at the top of the room.
Right.
I forgot she's still a grothlet.
All right, so I don't think Mag's gonna hit this thing with the hammer, and
Yeah.
David's gonna try to decide whether Mag could come up with that on her own in this circumstance. But let's just start with a mashy bash. That is a 28 to hit.
That'll hit.
All right. Here's a really crummy damage roll. That's 10 damage.
Okay, the maul slams into the Strachon for 10 points of damage, and I think that caused the Strachon to tilt its head around, like trying to get a sense. I mean, it can feel, so it knows where that somebody is where Mag is. So it sort of turns around and looks at Mag.
Clever girl.
Right. So Mag can see that it's disoriented, and she can see that it will turn in the direction of what hits it. So that means that Mag is going to hit it again.
Okay, interesting. Interesting gambit. Let's see how it pays off.
That's a 28 to hit, even with the map.
That's another hit.
Ooh, okay, that's
much better damage.
That's
roll.
what I call a damage roll. Double 10s for 26 damage.
Whew.
26 damage
Feels good.
as Mag bashes the Distrachon a second time.
That's more like it. But now what Mag wants to do is get on the other side of it, on the theory that it's more likely to try blasting its sound in the direction of the last thing that it could perceive. But she also
thinking.
wants to not be in the same cone direction as everybody else. So she will step around to the side.
Okay. See what you're doing. You're trying to do what Zoe wanted you to do, but get there on your own.
Well, I'm trying to decide where she would go. I think she would... Like, she's just created look over here. So she wants to be not. So she's going to go to one side or the other.
All right, let's pick a side.
I think she'd go here.
So you step
which is,
deeper into the room rather than towards the wall.
No, I think she'd go toward the wall. She'd go toward the wall.
Great, good.
I'm just trying to
stuff.
play it real.
Oh yeah, I get it.
I don't think she would step deeper into the room next to it. I think she would try to like slink back along the wall away from it,
Okay.
back in the direction of Trill. So we're gonna end up there.
Okay, so Mag is still right next to the Distrachon, but potentially the Distrachon is going to target her somewhere else because she attacked it from another space. This is sort of where we're going.
That's the hope.
As Mag bashes twice and steps around the Distrachon, it is now Isthin's turn.
Cool. So, Isthin, having not heard or seen Ao's
You knew it was
caution,
coming.
right, is going to charge right into the
Yeah.
cage.
Absolutely.
Look, we know how he does things, which is not
Badly.
well, but enthusiastically. And then he is going to take a moment, pause, recharge his spell strike, and then just make a regular strike against the Distrachon.
Okay. So channeling your energy to prepare for another big hit and then slamming it with your staff.
Yes. Oof. That is a 19 to hit.
That is not going to do it. The Distrachon manages to take the force of this bonk and shove its head to the side to not take any damage from that.
Cool. And that's his turn.
At the beginning of the Distrachon's turn, it is going to target the square that Mag was attacking it from and make a Jaws strike. It, of course, misses because there's nobody there. So it snaps at the air and then looks...
Or does it hit because nobody's there? You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean. I want to, but I just
Okay,
don't.
so in an infinite universe.
Oh, okay, I get it. So the Distrachon in this case is going to start snapping essentially in a circle. It's going to start snapping randomly. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spaces around it that it hasn't struck yet. I'm going to roll a D11 to see if it somehow manages to attack the right square. It does not, because it snaps right in front of Mag's face. It goes, chomp, right at the space right in front of Mag, right just between Mag and Trill.
And would that be enough to give Mag an attack of opportunity?
No, but I think
Because
the
it's not
next,
actually moving.
and the next thing that happens will, which is that it starts blindly walking forward a few feet away from you as it's like sort of roving its head around, trying to sense anything around it. It's moving slowly because it's flat-footed, because everything is difficult terrain, because it can't see anything, because it's deafened, et cetera, et cetera. But as it sort of wanders forward, trying to scope the area in the room out, that's going to provoke an attack.
Now, obviously, that would also alert it to Mag's position.
Correct.
But Mag is happy to take that trade-off.
And we have a whole turn cycle, right?
Exactly.
Like, goodness knows, yeah.
And like, if it's going to chomp at Mag instead of the rest of y'all, that's fine. It's headed
Please-
north toward
please
Trill
no more.
anyway.
Chomping at Trill, please no more.
If you don't chomp me right now.
Baby! That's a 20 on the die.
Love an attack of opportunity 20.
Nice.
All right, how are you going to nerf my
Nice.
damage this time?
I'm not. This attack is called Brained.
Oh.
The target is stunned 1, so this creature is going to lose an action on its next turn. Because that was a critical hit, that means it disrupts this creature's movement, so it starts to try to step forward and gets whomped by Mag's attack and is not able to keep moving.
Sweet.
Sorry, no, that's not the case for this. It still manages to move. That's a ranger thing that does that.
Got it.
But you do get to roll double dams.
I love my sweet, sweet double damage.
You love those sweet double dams.
All right, it's an okay damage roll, but when doubled, it comes out to 38 damage. And because of the maul and the various crit specialization effects and the crushing rune, it is also clumsy 1, enfeebled 1, and is knocked prone.
So you do disrupt its movement because it gets knocked all the way over. A phenomenal attack of opportunity for Mag as this thing lets its guard down, trying to sense anything around it, and just gets punished brutally for that.
And it's flat-footed for you, Ao.
Speaking of which, it's the top of round 6. Ao is the only one of her friends in the northern part of the room, and she did not hear, but perhaps saw Mag knock the Destrachon over, knock it senseless. It's writhing around on the ground, confused. What is Ao going to do?
Sad for the poor thing.
I will, outside of this game, say I'm a little sad because there's been a lot of back and forth on whether that thing was going to move, and it appeared from where you were going to move it before Mag did such beastly damage to it that it was sitting on the wall, such that I could have gone back to my plan of slamming the wall on it, and it might have killed it, which I felt pleased about. But here we are. We have a flat-footed creature. We shall not look its gift horse in the prone mouth. Instead, we will fire some more arrows at it.
Now, it is slightly outside of your preferred range. It's 35 feet away from you, which means that your attack will take a penalty unless you scoot forward a little bit.
Okay, then she is going to scoot down along this little turret.
Within the would-be wall of this observation chamber.
Right. She still wants to leave the wall option if she can get anyone's attention about this.
I'm now trying to picture a Grothlet handling a bow and arrow.
Oh, yeah. Just it might explain why she's been rolling so poorly. That's a 22 on the first one to hit.
That's going to miss.
Little Grothlet arms struggling. And on the second one, a 23.
Just misses.
That's frustrating.
That's frustrating. Hey, everybody.
That's what that is.
I want to let you know what it is.
Yep.
It's that.
Get out of there, Iston! Get out! I'm gonna hit the button! Obviously, his back is to her, and
So Trill hears Ao yell, "I'm going to hit the button," and it is now her turn.
Okay. Trill is torn. I'm already torn.
Sure, yes. The
This is how she feels?
the Natalie Imbruglia special.
How I feel.
Did y'all know that is a cover?
I don't think I've ever heard the original, but I did know it was a cover.
It's a cover.
It's like a cover of
by,
a song
like,
that came out like a year before. Like it's like a band had that song, it didn't go, and they just gave it to Natalie Imbruglia, and then it like worked for her, right?
Yeah, it's like some random Scandinavian band I had never heard of. It's wild.
What blew my mind more recently was discovering not the Sign, but that other really popular Ace of Base song.
All That She Wants?
No, the third one. It's a cover of like Tina Turner.
What?
Yeah.
Proud Mary?
Well, that's Creedence cover.
Beautiful Life.
Beautiful
It's
Life.
A beautiful life.
No, it's not. Wait, no.
Oh,
Let's see.
oh,
Ace of
oh.
Base cover. 'Cause now I have to figure this out.
Yeah,
before
we got to
move on.
get to the bottom of this.
This is crucial.
Is it All That She Wants?
we'll pick up from there.
Yeah.
Don't turn around. Don't
turn around. That's a cover?
That's a cover of Tina Turner.
What?
Yes.
Ah.
What a world.
I know. And then you hear the Tina, they seem like totally different songs, but the Tina Turner original is fantastic as well.
Hey.
So there you go.
You're exactly right. Written by Albert Hammond Jr., Sr., who is the father of Albert Hammond Jr., second guitarist for The Strokes.
Dang.
Trill, what are you doing
We
on your
have-
turn?
Trill's trying to
Full
decide
circle.
between rave and feeblement. I think at this point, though, she just has to stick to the known songs, not do any covers.
The rivers and the lakes that she's used to.
Yeah.
You know, that was a copy of a Paul McCartney song. A lot of people don't know that.
Waterfalls?
And
Yeah.
Trill's going to electric arc.
Okay, electric arc against this on the ground. It's clumsy. It's not moving very well. And you get the sense that it's maybe kind of slow to begin with. However, when I roll a 20 on the die, on my reflex
don't do
saving throw,
much.
it don't matter much what its stats
Yeah.
are.
It didn't miss much. There was not a great damage roll anyway. So as Trill's about to do her second action, she's waving at Istin, who she assumes is still deafened, trying to get him to understand to get on the other side to get over to the wall where she is. And with her last action, she's going to... Oh, I should have inspired courage at the beginning.
For what it's worth, they're all deaf and it wouldn't work.
Oh, you're right. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you.
You can inspire your own courage if you'd like to.
I can inspire my own courage, but that's... And Dirge of Doom won't help because it's deaf. Oh my god. Trill is...
Sort of a double-edged sword.
Some of
that
Trill's
deafens.
She
tools
did
have been
that
taken
brilliant
away.
move of deafening and now has, like, cut herself off at
Trill
the
is just
knees.
going to end up hurling her harp at this thing in frustration.
Well, what do you think, Robin?
I think Trill's just going to have to raise a shield because she can't support anyone.
Okay, shield cantrip emerges
Yeah.
over Trill as it is now Mag's turn. Mag is standing over the large but capsized body of this Destrachon as it wriggles around on the floor trying to get back to its feet. What is she going to do?
Hit it again. I mean,
Smart.
the thing being prone on the ground, it's like,
Asking
It's
to
like-
be hit.
yeah, it's like smashing fish in a barrel with a hammer.
That's the saying.
As the rising tide lifts the fish to be closer to the hammer.
25 to hit it.
25 will hit as you manage to find a weak point on it on the floor.
24 damage.
24 damage. This Destrachon is struggling to get back up as it keeps getting hammered by Mag. Mag has 2 more actions.
It's 2 more chances to finish the job. Next is a 29. Damn, that was a 19 on the
Mag.
die.
Ooh.
That's going to hit as well.
Yeah, Mag does not like a feeling of not being in control. And so far in this encounter,
What?
she was confused and then deafened. So
Yeah, all of this is happening. All Mag can hear is like the sound of blood. I guess you can't even hear that. It's magical deafness, right? You're it's like you're half here. You can't hear anything, you know? It's a
Yes.
bad feeling.
that's right. It's like it's like being a fly with limited vision, low resolution vision, because that's the only kind of eye that you've managed to evolve so far. All right. Which would
Infinity.
obviously affect your cognitive
Oh.
world as well.
Everybody agreed with you an hour ago.
17 damage.
Just
Got
the edges of the pancake are expanding outward.
Yeah.
But what's the griddle?
Exactly.
What is the
seven-
griddle, David?
17 damage?
Yes,
Is that
got it.
how are we doing there?
Okay, you got one more action.
Oh, that didn't finish the job.
No, it did not.
Oh,
This thing is sturdy.
it sure is, because I've done 17, 29, 24,
Lots.
34.
Basically an infinite amount of damage you've done.
Oh my god, it has infinite hit points.
Oh no.
That is
I'm
disturbing.
so sorry for bringing it up, guys.
The Destrachon is the pancake.
All right, the last attempt at a hit is just a 13.
And that misses. It's now Istin's turn. As Istin sees Mag slam this creature repeatedly, what is Istin going to do?
I think he probably, given his deafened state, has not... he's definitely not heard Trill or AO trying to motion him away. And seeing Mag just go ham on this thing, I think he'd do much the same. So Istin is going to make a spell strike using Produce Flame.
Okay.
And hopefully do a little bit better than he did last time. That is a 30 to hit.
So that is going to hit. The question that I have is if you're doing spell strike and you're doing a spell with an auditory deal because it has a
I was
verbal
gonna-
component, do
Yeah.
you have to make a flat check? I believe you do.
I was looking at it and it
Oh,
said
that's-
Yeah,
only
I think it-
auditory trait.
And it has
to-
verbal, so that's auditory, so you have to make the flat check.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a DC 5. Not too bad.
Fuck me. Excuse my language. God damn.
No, but that's correct. That's the correct reaction there.
So is the whole spell strike wasted then, or just the?
It's
The
not
cantrip.
entirely clear to me, so let's just say that the spell gets lost and you get to do the physical damage.
The verbal component, incidentally,
Yes.
it doesn't have the auditory tag on it.
Well, that's where you haven't dove deep enough into the nested traits system of this game, because they do. I just forget why. Is that enough of an argument to convince our man?
No, I was convinced before. And
No,
now I'm
I think
not.
it's fair. I think it's fair, honestly. Like, if he's deafened, he's not going to be able to hear how he's pronouncing the spell
right.
things.
It makes sense that verbal would be a subset of auditory.
Right.
Well, I would think if a
this-
spell had an auditory trait, that means the target of the spell would have to hear it.
Well, that's if the spell has the auditory trait, but the casting of the spell is the question. We're really getting into the weeds on.
Boy, this is the
On
weediest.
this. Yeah, we're getting real
Casters are
weedy.
complicated.
Should we Cliffy on this?
I don't think that we have to, because I don't think it's materially. I don't think it matters.
I'm definitely willing to take this as rules as intended. If not rules as written.
I've found these. This is one of those things where I have found these rules in the past. It's just like you have to dive real deep into this fucking thing in order to find
Into
it.
Lars's made up rules.
Into my made up rules. Yeah, it's true.
It's a very popular website, Zoe.
So just the physical damage and the arcane cascade damage would be 16.
The fact that his staff hits the Distractron is enough to kill it.
Awesome.
Hey,
I will
That's
take
awesome.
that's something in our favor we could use. And I
There we
feel like
go.
as Istin does that, Ao's mage hand reaches out and hits the button and the walls go.
Love it.
And we will pick up from there. With these walls suddenly re-erected, with the party getting the chance to finally explore this laboratory that holds the secrets that you've been searching for this whole time, we will pick up from there next time.
I wasn't sure if we were going to make it, guys.
It got dicey there.
That was an exciting one.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.